Gather around, llamas. It's time for another video. Is there a fourth dimension? This is a dot, a singularity. It has infinitely small width, height, and length. Let's put another dot right next to it and draw a line in between them. This line has length but is infinitely small in width and height. This is called the first dimension. One line is considered one-dimensional. Let's duplicate that line and add lines in between the points. The figure is a two-dimensional plane and has width and length but not height. Let's duplicate it again and add lines between the corresponding points. This is a cube, a three-dimensional figure that has width, height, and length. Those are the three dimensions. But what if we kept going? Duplicate, add lines in between the corresponding points, and technically we have made a four-dimensional figure. From this point of view, the figure looks like this. It's called a tesseract and is a four-dimensional cube. It's hard to draw on your two-dimensional screen because your perception of it changes based on the way you're looking at it. Here are some of the ways a tesseract can look. This doesn't look four-dimensional, it looks like I could touch it. It doesn't look as exciting as I would expect something from another dimension to look like. That's because we can't see fourth-dimensional objects with our three-dimensional eyes. Let's go back to the line, a one-dimensional object. If you are a one-dimensional ant on that line, you can only move forward and backward along the line. If there was a yellow dot in front of you, all you would be able to see is that yellow dot. You couldn't see a blue dot past that yellow dot unless you went behind it. You would also have no comprehension of moving to the right or the left because you are a one-dimensional ant. But if you instead were an ant on a two-dimensional plane, you can now move left, right, forward, and backward. If there was that one-dimensional ant and dots from earlier on a line in front of you, you can see the one-dimensional ant, the yellow dot, and the blue dot, whereas that one-dimensional ant on that line wouldn't be able to see the blue dot. However, you, as an ant on a two-dimensional plane, can't see a green dot past that line unless you are on the other side of it. As a two-dimensional ant, you could never be able to comprehend going up and down because you are two-dimensional. Now you are a normal person in a three-dimensional world. You can move in any direction. When you look at the picture of the dot on the two-dimensional plane on your screen, you can see the green dot that the two-dimensional ant can't see. However, you can't see a pie past your computer without looking around it. Just like the two-dimensional ant couldn't comprehend moving up and down, you can't comprehend moving in the fourth dimension. In the fourth spatial dimension, a being would be able to see in front of, behind, and inside you and your computer at the same time. We can never begin to comprehend what it would feel like to see in the fourth dimension because we are three-dimensional beings. I know what some of you are thinking, but Llama scientists agree that the fourth dimension is time. Saying the fourth dimension is time is like saying a tomato is a fruit. Tomatoes are scientifically agreed to be a fruit, but they are very different compared to all the other fruits. So much so that we don't think of them in the same way that we think of other fruits. Unlike most other fruits, tomatoes wouldn't make a very good pie. What I'm trying to say is, yes, time is a dimension, but its existence as one doesn't fit in the pattern of the first three dimensions before it. It also doesn't really make sense as a dimension, because all three of the first dimensions experience time as well. If you want more insight on time as a dimension, I've linked a few videos in the description for you. For the sake of this video, I'm referring to the fourth spatial dimension, which is a dimension where the tesseract exists. Now that's cleared up, what if we tried to find the Big Bang location or the center of the universe? We can do this by noticing which direction the observable universe leans towards. If the center of the universe is, let's say, this direction from us, then the observable universe would lean more towards the opposite direction, because the universe is expanding away from the Big Bang location. Using this technique, we can tell which direction the center of the universe is. But wait, the observable universe is exactly a sphere, and we are in the dead center of it. This is because the universe isn't expanding away from something in our dimension, it's expanding away from something in another dimension. Let's look back at my balloon analogy from our dark energy video, link in the description. Big Bang location is at the center of the balloon, not on the surface. We can't get to the Big Bang location, because the entire universe expands away from it as the balloon gets inflated. But the universe is three-dimensional. It's not a two-dimensional balloon surface. So if the three-dimensional universe is compared to the two-dimensional surface of a balloon, then we live on the three-dimensional surface of a four-dimensional balloon. It's confusing, but we are ants on a plane. The fourth dimension makes no sense to us, just like moving up and down makes no sense to a two-dimensional ant. You are a three-dimensional being, watching a two-dimensional video, living on the three-dimensional surface of a four-dimensional universe balloon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Have a Llamaful day.